Hey guys, it's Ayla Melendez, aka Real Estate, your host of the Chronicles R.E.I. edition. And today we're here with Earon Bevans.
I am so hyped to be here. I'm not even going to lie.
We're going to get a laugh out of you today. This is Earon Bevans, the Millennial Entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you're cozy and I'm glad you're here for episode 2. I first want to ask you, who are you as a person outside of real estate?
This is such a good question. I think my brand holds true to who I consider myself. Like outside of real estate, I am, you asking this makes me realize how boring I am. Because legitimately, I view myself as an entrepreneur. Like that's part of my identity. Mm-hmm. So outside of real estate, I'm building other businesses. Mm-hmm. Real estate has been my bread and butter business that's allowed me to fund my vision in life, which is, as a kid, I always wanted to be like James Bond. You know what I mean? No, like Batman. Batman is like, billionaire by day and saving the world by night, So real estate has allowed me to become the entrepreneur. So outside of real estate, I'm building other businesses. I have other ventures. I have my ministry. That's something that's really important to me. But yeah, that occupies a lot of my time.
Well, what inspired you to get into real estate specifically? Because that was is that when you first became an entrepreneur? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So what inspired you to get into it?
So I was married when I was 23 and there was a conversation that my wife had. We were like 2 years into being married, Ayla. Mm-hmm. And she comes home one day. By the way, at the time, I'm a painter and I'm not doing artistic painting. It's construction. You know what I mean? And she comes home one day and I'm already home. Mm-hmm. And mind you, she had been an entrepreneur from before we were married. So about 3 years now, she was a hairstylist and she had a company that was blowing up. And she says, "Hey, we need to talk." And I'm like, "Oh, snap."
What was going through your head with that one question?
What did I do? You know what I mean? What did I do wrong?
You automatically assume the worst.
Yeah,
you're like, not
exactly,
the talk.
Exactly. Because it was the tone, like we need to talk. I could tell she wasn't happy.
Okay.
So she sits at the edge of the couch and she says, "Earon, I don't like how I'm starting to feel about you." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oof, what does that mean? We've only been married 2 years. I'm like, what am I not doing right? Mm-hmm. And she says, "I didn't marry you for the money, obviously, because at the time I wasn't making a lot of money." She wasn't being mean. She didn't marry me for money. Yeah. But she's like, over the last 2 years, I feel like I've grown. My business has grown. But I feel like you're in the same place that you were whenever we first got married. And I don't like the fact that I feel like I'm growing and you're not. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to feel that way about you. Mm-hmm. Bruh. That was like getting kicked in the stomach. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
respectfully, though.
Respectfully, yeah. She didn't call me out. Yeah. She could have put me on blast, and she didn't. Mm-hmm. She had the conversation with me, and I appreciated that. Mm-hmm. So once I got finished licking my wounds, I started this like self-development journey. Like that's a good point. Like at that time I was 25 years old, and I'm like, why am I not growing financially? And I realized I had never learned finances as a kid. And so I went on this self-development journey and started looking into Tony Robbins and Darren Hardy and all of these self-development guys. Mm-hmm. And the more I grew, the more I started to look for opportunities where I could grow too. So her dad said, "Hey, there's going to be a seminar coming to our city in this coming up weekend. And they're going to be talking about how you can get into real estate with none of your own money and none of your own credit." And I was like, shut up. They're like, that sounds so unreal. And so I went to the seminar. It was for free. And there was this guy that was enthusiastically talking about how he was getting properties under contract. Mm-hmm. Then he was selling those contracts on real estate and selling those contracts, and he was making $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. And I was like, Ayla, like in that moment,
you're like, how do I get one of these contracts?
Facts. In that moment, I don't know what it was. I think, when you're ready for an opportunity and it comes before, it's like a connection.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
When you know.
I knew. I was like, yo, this is my meal ticket. That was in 2017. By the end of 2017, I did my first deal.
Oh, wow.
What's the word?
Accumulated?
No, I
made the same amount. No.
Okay, I equate getting my first deal to a shark smelling blood for the first time. So my first deal was in the end of 2017. 2018, we cleared $500,000 in assignment fees.
Wow. And was that just you, or did you have a couple partners?
I had one partner, Annalise, who you knew.
Yeah.
Right? Annalise was my partner. And then we had about 3 or 4 people locally.
Wow.
And we cleared that in our first year.
Wow.
Made every mistake in the book. You know what I mean?
Learned every lesson in the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. Good perspective. But yeah, that's kind of my entry story into real estate.
Dang. So you heard a commercial and were like, this is too good to be true, but it's free. So I'm going to see what it's about.
My father-in-law heard a commercial and he invited us. But yeah, I was a second generation commercial.
So what'd your wife say about that then? Once you were like, oh, this is doable. So how'd your wife's perception change?
I mean, she supported it from the beginning. And it was just like validation. It was just validation whenever I cleared that first year.
I love that. Yeah. Well, do you think financial freedom is a must for some people or for people in general?
I believe financial freedom is a necessity for everyone. It's an absolute necessity. And what I mean by that is by the way, let me describe what I define as financial freedom. Financial freedom for me, there's a few aspects to it. There's time freedom, the ability to choose what you want to do when you want to do it. Then there's geographic freedom, like being able to be where you want to be, when you want to be there. And then there's the freedom of options to invest in charities and causes of your choosing. And then there's the freedom of choice in terms of what do I want to do? What's my major purpose? Because typically the thing that has gotten, what I found, the thing that makes you rich or wealthy is not necessarily your major calling in life. We might feel like it's something we enjoy enough to get past the hard times and get money. But once you establish that you know, money, like that where you're living a comfortable lifestyle, there's typically another level where you're like, okay, now I'm where I want to be financially. What's my impact to the world now? And that's a greater calling. You know what I mean? So those aspects come together as financial freedom. Those are necessities for anybody's fulfillment in Western civilization. And that opportunity is available to everybody. So I think financial freedom is an absolute necessity. And if I can say something a little bit that might hurt some people's feelings.
Go ahead.
Those that don't attain to financial freedom, they're neglecting the resources that they have at hand. And it's a disservice that they're, you know, to everyone around them. Because we're not able to help and assist others and protect others that are important to us if we're not financially free. It's like fighting in life with golden handcuffs, tied behind your back.
I agree. Because whenever you don't have to worry about money, it's like that generates a whole new passion. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about one of the biggest struggles in America, which is money. You know what I mean? So I agree 100%. A lot of people get into real estate to make a lot of money so they can really do what they want to do. Because sometimes your passion is not really going to feed your family. You honestly could be passionate about, you know, making butterflies out of pieces of grass, but it's like, you know who you got to target to do this? But, you know, once you're financially free, you know, you find yourself on a whole different aspect when money's not an issue.
Facts.
That's why I love to get to know people. I'm just like, hey, you already made it, but like, who are you outside of this? You know what I mean? Like, what really feeds your passion, not your pocket? So, because sometimes it's two different things. So
100%. Can I expound on that a little bit?
Go ahead.
There is the author of this book. It's called Built to Sell. Built to Sell. I forgot the author of this book, but he says, he makes this quote that there's 3 types of entrepreneurs. There's the technician, there's the freedom fighter, and there is the mountain climber.
And what's the difference between those 3?
The difference is the technician entrepreneur is the entrepreneur that says, I need to be known as the best. He loves the technical work and he has to master it and he has to do the work and he's okay being the best. He stays pretty small, but he's like, he does the technical work. I'll give you an example. It's the mechanic who owns a mechanic shop, but he loves to do the work and he takes pride in being the best.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? It's the hairstylist who works in the business and just wants to be the best in the city. That's the smallest entrepreneur. Nothing wrong with that entrepreneur, by the way. That's just the category they fall in.
Yep.
The second category of entrepreneurs is the freedom fighter, which they are exactly what their name implies. Right? Their main focus is they're like typically natural born rebels, and their ultimate focus is I want to live life on my terms. This is, by the way, this is like the vast majority of entrepreneurs are freedom fighters. We're just natural rebels who we just want to live life on our own terms and we want to be the boss. We want to be the leader, right? And then we have the mountain climber. And what you just said inspired this whole soapbox. But about that passion, some entrepreneurs, a mountain climber, when they get to the highest summit, they enjoy it for like 10 minutes. And they're like, this is great. Where's the next highest summit?
You're always chasing the next big, what is it, like an adrenaline rush?
Absolutely. 100%. I feel like I'm a mountain climber. I might not be a Jeff Bezos, and I'm not, maybe I'm cutting myself short. Maybe I am. I don't feel like an Elon Musk. But I'm definitely always looking for the next summit, and I'm not stopping until I'm 90 if I'm blessed with that. You know what I mean? This is my passion, to open up businesses and create businesses and opportunities for
new
people.
Beginnings.
It's in creating. It's the creating process. Okay. You know what I mean? That's what I love. That's my passion.
So do you think once you get a new idea and start a new business, are you like no longer satisfied, or is it just like, no, I still got it in me, just keep chasing it? Like you don't lose any satisfaction from it, do you? I
don't. I think that I have a massive vision. And I know that vision is going to come in phases. So I know that by 58 years old, I want my net worth. I have it written out. I can literally show you. By 58 years old, I want my net worth to be $1.5 billion. Now I understand in order to do that, I need to have one massive business, or there's multiple ways to skin the cat. You know what I mean? Look, I have it. I don't want you to think that I'm capping. I literally have it broken down where what my net worth will be by each age between where I am now, I'm 32, and 58 years old. Well, 1.2 billion is what I said.
Got it.
So, I have a vision in how I'm going to create like the Amazon of real estate. And I have my real estate wholesaling company, and I have my virtual staffing company that provides workers for real estate, and then I have an education company in real estate. So they're all different businesses that serve the same vertical. So all of my businesses will serve the same vertical. So it's not that I'm just inherently dissatisfied with the last project. It's that it's not done. It's like a little kid who's building a train set, and it's like, to somebody who comes in, it's like, well, the train set, it's like, no, we got to put the trees, we got to paint it, we got to, the vision goes to $1.2 billion net worth. When I hit $1.2 billion net worth, if I'm blessed with the opportunity to do that, I go into my legacy years. And legacy years is where I'm focused on leaving my impact. So,
got it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how you detailed that down to the drop.
Yeah.
Do you have all the sub goals in between there too? You're just like, I'm going to get to this one by this.
I do. Let me just read it to you. This is the honest truth. I don't know if I'm supposed to share this out loud. My attorney, my CPA,
is this on document somewhere?
I don't know. This is just projections, guys. I'm actually poor. I'm worth $10 million net worth by 2025. So obviously I'm not at a $10 million net worth yet. And then my goal is to double in net worth every 3 to 5 years. So 20 million by 38 years old, 40 million by 42, 80 million by 45, a net worth of 160 million by 48, 320 million by 51, 640 million by 54, $1.2 billion net worth by 58.
Got it.
By the way, I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making the best moves I know how.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what my mentor who shared with me, he says it's not a matter of what you know how to do. It's just asking the right questions. If you ask a $1.2 billion question
Mm-hmm.
within a reasonable time frame, then you have much higher chance of getting there. So maybe I miss my mark on life and I only end up with a $640 million net worth.
That's all?
Boo-hoo.
Only that?
You know what I'm saying? But I'm asking billion-dollar questions because I think the biggest thing in life that holds people back is the size of the questions that they ask. If you ask the average person what he's looking for a job, he will tell you, I just need something to get by, man. I just want to be comfortable. And then they wonder why they're so dissatisfied. It's like, dude, you're asking.
Aim low.
What did Les Brown say? It's not the conundrum in life is the problem in life is not aiming too high and missing. It's aiming too low and hitting.
Yep.
So, we ask these really, really small questions, you know what I mean? And because of that, we get really small results. So
That's very true.
I'm just asking big questions. I'm a dumb kid. I am a dumb kid asking big questions. I know, but I legitimately feel that way, Ayla. Dude, You're
a simplified person. Don't say a dumb kid.
Ayla, you and I have done real estate deals together before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty dumb, right?
I can't agree with that. Like, you know the psychology of sales, so I can't call you dumb. A lot of people don't know the common sense psychology of sales.
Yeah.
So once you're a likable person and you have sales, you're obviously not dumb, in my opinion. So I can't agree with you.
Let me qualify what I mean by dumb so the audience knows.
Okay.
What I mean by dumb is I honestly don't have a lot of answers for stuff.
Got it.
But I would say I try to make up in likability and confidence where I lack in actual knowledge.
Fake it till you make it.
That's me 100% of the time, dude.
And
I don't
working,
know what I'm doing.
So it doesn't even matter.
I don't know what I'm doing, man.
Well, earlier I know you did mention that, did you say it was Batman was one of your heroes?
Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you think entrepreneurs are the new heroes?
Oh, come on, Ayla. You're talking right now. This is one of my philosophies. I feel like entrepreneurs are the modern day superheroes. 1,000,000%. Okay. We are glamorized in the news. If somebody has in their bio entrepreneur, you're like, oh, snap.
I want to know more.
Facts. Entrepreneurship is cool. For the first time since like the 1920s and 30s, where back then most people owned small barbershops and plots of land, and they would farm and till their own soil, and all the stores were local mom and pops. Entrepreneurship was cool. It was the thing to do. But it was Ford that they introduced this concept of bringing massive amounts of employees in at a minimum wage and working 40 hours a week, and giving your life to a corporation. They introduced this concept of give me the majority of your day, the majority of your week,
your life.
and your life, and then I will reimburse you with a pension or some sort of retirement. You know what I mean? So America drifted away from the entrepreneur being the hero and breadwinner. But what's happening right now in society is crazy. Traditional education, most people are like, they're starting to realize how much of a scam it is, right? Yeah. To enter into life with $40,000 in debt, not even being in a field that you majored in. It's the biggest scam ever.
Imagine spending 4 years of your youth, for a piece of paper, and you're in debt $60,000 and you're getting a job to where it's like $30,000,
Facts. Not even in the field that you spent the time in. You know what I mean? It's so insane. Right. So what's happening in society is there's a shift to entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship is becoming cool again. So we are the superheroes. Now I think that because entrepreneurship is so glamorized, and we're also entering into the age of social media, where on IG and Facebook, everybody gives their highlights and it seems like you have to be perfect. There is an inherent demon that most entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs are facing. And there's this one article in Forbes magazine that called it like appearance management or something like that.
Why'd they call it that?
Because they said that entrepreneurs have so much stress on them, but they feel like they have to be perfect and they have to have it all together all the time. But it's because entrepreneurs are the new superheroes. So, and we have to be strong. We have to go against a lot of negativity. We have to be the leaders in our companies. So we always have to have it together. And so I think that because we're the new superheroes, there's also a trade-off, and that means there's a challenge. And the article was mentioning that suicide amongst entrepreneurs is higher than any other category of people or demographic. Obesity is higher amongst entrepreneurs. Mood swings and anxiety and depression higher amongst entrepreneurs than any other demographic in Western society. But yet we're the superheroes. You know what I mean?
You choose to take on that risk.
100%. 100%.
I think that's heroic.
But I think that's why it's so important for entrepreneurs to be mindful of some of these psychological effects, and that's the real reality. Like, we are glamorized on social media, but we need to be prepared for what we're taking on before we enter into entrepreneurship. And just understand that you're not abnormal if you have a night where you feel like you're going to throw up and you're losing everything and you suck. Yeah. Like, just know all of us have gone through that.
It comes with the cape.
It comes with the cape. I love that. I love that. It's true.
You did mention those challenges, but just entrepreneurship in general, what comes outside of that, of any other type of challenge, like even in personal lives?
What do you mean?
Like any personal relationship, how does entrepreneurship affect that?
Ooh, that's huge. That's huge. For me, I would say, so in my coaching program, here's how serious I take that. When somebody buys into my coaching program, one of my first challenges is, if you are dating or if you're married, you need to have a conversation with your significant other that your next 12 to 24 months is going to be incredibly turbulent.
Wow, that's a great
Set
word.
the expectation that I'm going to need to dedicate X amount of time per day, per week, per month to this venture, but it's for us. Do I have your support? Because if you don't have their support, entrepreneurship is like, you got to fight against gravity. You got to fight against your own weight. You know what I mean? So you have to fight against the economy. You have to fight against your own, natural imperfect tendencies. But then if your spouse or significant other is not on board, that's like having to fight against gravity, climbing up a tree with a monkey hanging on your neck. You know what I mean? You can do it.
But it's just like, why put yourself through more of that? And that's good that you actually implement that in your business, for the simple fact that simple question can really even make you change how you feel about your partner.
I think there's another aspect to that question, though, in regards to how entrepreneurship affects personal relationships.
What's that?
If you're trying to take entrepreneurship seriously, you're going to be working typically 40 plus hours a week, minimum. Minimum. And if you're taking this seriously, I'm thinking you're going to be at 70, 80, dude. Right? Am I wrong, Ayla?
That's very true. And then the fact that it's like you're putting in twice as much work to not know when your next check is.
100%.
You don't always know. Even in real estate, real estate is never anything you can do on your own, because one transaction includes like 100 people.
100%. It's like a rocket ship. 70% of its fuel is utilized in the first 10 minutes of blast off, because it needs to build the momentum in order to get out of the atmosphere. Same thing with business. It's like, all this energy is utilized in the first 6 to 12 to 24 months of business just to get the business off the ground. So you're not going to be able to hang with your friends every Friday.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to do a lot of the things that you would do if you're just going to work a 9 to 5. If you can't deal with that, then be okay with a fluttering business that's always going to be an anxiety hole for you, or stick with a 9 to 5. Or don't say that you're building a business, because that's not going to happen. You're conflicted. But here's the beautiful aspect: if we're able to set that expectation with our friends, hey, the next 12 to 24 months I'm going to be doing this. You know what I mean? If they're real friends, they will support that. They won't make you feel bad for that. They're gonna support. They're gonna cheer you on, and they'll be there on the other side. You know what I mean? And maybe your vision and your drive will even spur them on to be able to do some amazing things as well. But what I say, because I am an entrepreneur at heart, is have everybody who's not in your path and riding along get out of the way. Because it's going to require all of your energy, focus, and time to be able to get your business to manifest into what you want. You know, for your first 1 to 2 years.
I agree. You gotta tell them no hot girl summer.
You know what I'm saying? Man, that's tough.
Hey, but as long as you set that expectation, you know what I mean? There's some times to where people don't even feel comfortable to have those conversations, even with their friends, you know? They want to keep up with the Joneses. They want to take that picture. They want to take that vacation. So it's hard to let, you know, the people that you've known so long down. But again, setting proper expectations, you know.
100%.
And that up front, you already see who's rocking with you or not. If you can tell someone up front, I'm working on myself, I just need your support. Like, why would you even call that a friend if they didn't support you after you directly told them?
Facts.
That'll help you weed people out of your life.
100%.
It's better to do it then versus, you know, you handle all these relationships and do all this and then you finally make it and then, you know, you're just like, oh, well, that was my friend, but now, you know, you don't get on the yacht. Like,
facts. Dang.
But I'm just saying, like, it makes sense, but people don't have those uncomfortable conversations.
It's true. It's true.
Regarding success, how would you measure the success in life?
Ooh, I have a distinct philosophy on this, and I cannot take credit for it.
Okay.
I borrowed this from W. Clement Stone, and he says a success is anybody who is currently working on a noteworthy cause and goal. If they're progressively working on a noteworthy, and by the way, what determines noteworthy? You do. So the teacher or the person who says they want to be a teacher and they're setting they set that goal and they're actively working towards it progressively, they are currently successful. So success isn't based on an event. The same thing goes for the wholesaler who set the goal to generate $500,000 by the end of the year and they're progressively working, like they're currently successful.
It's not limited to an end goal.
Yeah, and if we do that, then we're going to live life very depressed because the end goals are only temporary moments in life. The rest of life that makes up life is the journey, right? So if I'm progressively working towards the goal, I'm right now successful. Because I'm successful right now, I attract and I'm excited. So I'm attracting circumstances and people and opportunities. And because I am successful, money follows. You know what I mean?
I love that.
As opposed to the person that says, when I make this amount of money, then I'll be successful. So it takes them 6 months to get there. That's 6 months of unhappiness and unsuccess. Like,
be, do, have.
That's right. Be, do, have. Because I'm successful, because I'm successful, I act like a successful person. And because I act like a successful person, I'll have what successful people have.
I know. And so many people have the goal that sounds, it's like once you know that philosophy or that phrase, you hear it the other way and you're just like, you're never going to start. Because you're like, once I do this, I'll do this. Like, when are you going to start? Like, you're subconsciously telling yourself like, I'll just do this, then I'll reach my goal or then I'll work on myself. And it's so crazy to hear it out loud. And it's like, dang, you really have to change your way of thinking.
That was a bar that you just hit right now.
What'd I say?
Can you repeat it?
What did I say?
You just said, you were expounding on be, do, have, but it was the way you said it. It was a bar.
Whenever it comes to whenever you're saying you're going to do something, it's like, oh, then I'll work on myself. It makes sense to me. It's like once you learn it, because at the end of the day, it's like life is as simple as just having the will to want something. And I know things sound unbelievable at times, but it's just like, if you ask even like when it comes to sports documentaries or the history of like athletes, all they ever say, even they could be 4 years old, missing every single shot. And they always say, I've always been an athlete. I've always been a star. But it's the fact that they told that even when they suck every single day, but still showing up for themselves, they always had the mindset. Even before they even knew anything about mindset, they knew what they were.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, like, every athlete, like all successful people, like the only thing they have in common is their mindset. So whenever you see someone that lacks mindset, you almost kind of just know how their life is, almost.
100%.
And it sucks to judge someone that way, but it's like, factually speaking, all successful people will tell you, it's like, what's that aha moment? What was that switch? And by that, it's, when did your mindset change? Because that's all it takes. Something so simple, but literally, like, you don't know what you don't know when it comes to that thing. It's like a limited belief. So.
100%.
Do you have a personal philosophy? If so, what is that?
Ooh, I have a lot of them.
I know. I love how you remember quotes. I can't remember who said what to save my life.
I have a lot of personal philosophy. I've never been asked this question, Ayla.
Let's hear a few of them, because I know you have good ones, so I'm ready.
If I could choose one, it would be from Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
He says that every temporary defeat carries with it a seed of equivalent advantage.
And what does that mean to you?
Oof, I literally saying that right now, I got butterflies. That's how powerful that quote is to me, seriously. Because what that means to me is that every negative thing that happens, if it's like a pendulum, if it's a small negative thing, then there is some sort of small blessing. I just have to find it.
It's like, what is this teaching me?
What is this teaching me? What benefit did this situation cause? There's always one. There's
looking
always
for the
one.
reason and why something happens can change your life.
Oh my
drastically.
goodness, 100%
It can be the worst day. And like, I hate saying bad day. I say bad moment. But it's like, how many people do you know to where they took a bad moment and wasted a whole day? It's almost like that's so negative. It's so contagious to be around someone that just always complains or has a negative mindset. You're just like, dang.
Yeah, 100%. There's two people. It starts raining. They both forgot their umbrella. One person curses the weather, is so frustrated and uncomfortable. And they're like, I just ruined this suit and I'm going to ruin my car. I'm going to stink by the time I get home. And the other person is like, I haven't played in the rain since I was a kid. Wearing the same suit, lives in the same neighborhood. Nothing is different except for the perspective. And mind you, it's difficult to be person B, but it's going to rain on all of us. The only thing I can control is my attitude.
Exactly.
I get this question all the time, Ayla. Earon, there's no way you are this excited all the time. Like, and they ask my team and they ask people around me and they're like, he kind of is.
Sable
you know what
can
I mean?
vouch for it. Sable can vouch for it. He's like, no, he's always energy.
And it's not that I don't know how to sit still and be serious as much as it is. I am currently trained. I don't take it for granted, but I feel like I'm training myself to be in this default mode no matter what happens. I want to give myself a maximum of, depending on the situation, 15 minutes to 24 hours to mourn, depending on the gravity, because I'm not inviting the universe to hurt me.
Exactly.
So I don't I'm not saying I'm Superman, but I have 24 hours to mourn. And here's the thing, my business doesn't care. I have to show up on Monday. This is the biggest challenge that I see with most entrepreneurs, Ayla, that it's emotional resilience, dude. They start on January 1st. They have an argument with Bay on January 3rd. And now they don't work for a whole week in their business because they're like, no, this thing happened and you don't understand my situation. And it's like, I don't care about your excuses. And you know who else doesn't care? Your business doesn't care. Your customers don't care. You got to show up for them no matter. I'm not trying to be insensitive. But
it's business, not personal. Exactly. And whenever you mix the two, it shows.
100%. And I think that's the biggest thing. So it sounds really insensitive to be like, hey, we're going to experience death in the family. You got to show up on Monday. You're going to experience sickness. You got to show up on Monday. You know what I mean? And we might not be able to show up in the full amount. But here's what the market says. And by the way, you might not show up and you can justify it to everybody. And everybody will say, you know what, it's okay. But your bank account is always going to reflect what you've done.
Yep.
So in my mind, it's like, nobody cares, dude. Nobody's going to come to save me. So I have to be the one. I have to be the light in my life. I have to be the one that shows up. So I want to train myself to be in this default no matter what. Even when I don't feel like it, I try to be in this default. You're building a habit
because depressed people stay depressed because they're focused on being depressed. So you know what I mean? Whenever you stay in the habit of anything, even subconsciously, it just becomes your life.
Come on, it becomes a pattern.
I know you show up sick. I brought you cookies before. You were sick.
I remember that we went live that day. And we went live and told Quentin that we were brothers and
sister. I know, that's what I was going to say. Dude, and everyone always thinks that too.
And he hit me up. He's like, no way. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's my sister, man.
Yeah, that's why I say Brother Bevs.
I was like, I have spies in your business, bro.
It's just so funny. Like, people really believed it. I was just like out of nowhere, no one
they didn't even question it. That was the crazy. They were like, yeah,
I know. Like, sense. I've never been not questioned over the most random, like, people were just like, it makes sense.
I bet you we could do it again after telling people we were not brother and sister.
And nobody would question it.
And they'd be like, y'all are right. Right?
That's funny. It's just good energy. I always say Brother Bevs anyway. So, Facts. But nobody catches that. Yeah. I love that. We're going to tell this story. I was like, it's coming. We're going to tell it. We're going to tell it. All right. Let me breathe because I've been laughing loud. How have your beliefs or values evolved over time? Like, how'd you start? And how's it evolved?
What a good question. There's a couple of things I can think of. My company core values. One of the core values changed, which is huge.
Okay, what was
that? They were unity, integrity, unity. Dang it, my team.
I know you got it in the notes.
Hold on. Dang, guys, I'm a bad entrepreneur.
No, hey, you don't need memory to be an entrepreneur. As long as you know where you stored it, you're good.
I'm calling my admin.
Oh my! I thought you were gonna pull up a notes app. We're getting live proof of your.
Hopefully, she answers.
Is this safe?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Sable. I know this is out of the blue. What are our company core values right now?
Unity, integrity, ambition, and humility.
Unity, integrity, ambition, and unity, integrity, ambition,
humility,
and humility.
Mm-hmm.
Sable, you're on a podcast right now, and I wanted to. I was talking about how ambition is currently being changed to initiative. Because the question was how my core values have changed and my beliefs have changed. And I forgot our core values. So thank you for remembering.
You're so clutch, Sable.
Thank you.
It's Ayla.
Oh, there you go.
All right, Sable. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so.
Why'd that one change?
Ambition has changed to initiative.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I noticed that ambition is more of a push connotation and has a negative connotation at times. Ambition means if I have to step on your neck. Ray Kroc, he made that statement at the end of the movie. He says, in business, you have to have the audacity or the tenacity to, if your opponent was drowning, you'd walk up to him and put a hose in his mouth. You know what I mean? And hey, Ray Kroc is a billionaire, and so maybe that's the way to do it. I don't believe in that. That's ambition, and I don't want to build that way. Now, business is war. Yeah. So if I have to protect and we have to go to war, I will go to war with you. I'm not saying I'm freaking, Mahatma Gandhi. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Martin Luther King. I'm more of a Malcolm X. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go to war.
Let's be strategic about it.
But let's be strategic about it. But what I am saying is that I didn't like the connotation And I think early on in business, because I'm very competitive, ambition felt good. And I drove my team like that. Whatever we got to do to get this done, we're going to get it done.
Get it by any means.
Machiavelli, the ends justify the means. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to build my business like that. My company name, my real estate company name is Justice Cash Buyers. So we have core values we want to adhere to. And I felt like justice and ambition sometimes were at odds. And so it's initiative now. Initiative, I feel, is more of a impelling core value than a push. You know, it's more of a being pulled. If I have initiative, it means we have an objective. I'm going to be preemptive. I'm going to think ahead of time, and I'm going to do without being told. And there's this wonderful quote I love, and it says, unsuccessful men are men who do what they're told and nothing else. Whereas men of initiative don't need to be told.
Yep.
Right?
It's like the difference between having it in you or not.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
you either got it or you don't.
You know, and being around a person of initiative is so awesome. You know what I mean? Where you don't have to tell them, they just think of it, you know, and they do it. Oh man, being around a person of initiative is like, whoa.
Yeah, you naturally want to feed off of that. When you see people doing that, you're like, I want to do that. Because it's such like a good thing to mock.
100%. Initiative gets you to the top. Initiative, you can beat your opponents. Initiative is the way you win. Ambition felt too negative connotation.
Cutthroat.
So that's... But my core values on the business are how I want to live life and how I see life. So that's how I build. So that's one way my beliefs have changed. Another way my beliefs have changed is my belief in myself. I would say.
How so?
My identity has grown. I did not know my value in the beginning. I would give away so much for free. And like, by the way, I think it's important to give away for free. I think you should. If you want to establish yourself, you got to give away a lot for free. I think I continued to give freely even when my value in the marketplace was already established. And it wasn't for any other reason other than I was not valuing myself in order to say, no, I need equity here. No, I deserve to be paid for this. Hey, what's my percentage of this? You know what I mean? And building with that in mind. But my identity has definitely grown. I'm a better receiver now. And because I'm a better receiver, money flows to me now. You know? Whereas I used to... Exactly. I used to be a very poor receiver of money. And I struggled my first, couple years of business. So even when I would make money, Ayla, I would lose it somehow. You know what I mean?
Did you feel the guilt of, I don't need that much, or I didn't need it, so you felt like you weren't deserving of it at first?
Whoa, it was not, I don't think that I felt like I didn't need it, but I definitely felt like an imposter, like I don't deserve it.
Got it.
Money would come to me, dude, and I'd be like... This is not me. Like, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? Like I would like it. It felt good. But there was a thing in the back of my head, like, can I sustain this? You know what I mean? Will this continue? It was just all these negative emotions attached to all this money that made me feel like I don't deserve it. You're absolutely right.
Got it.
And so I would subconsciously self-sabotage. I bought the Mercedes. You know what I mean? I bought all these shark skin suits. I don't know if you remember, but I had this shark skin suit phase. You know what I mean? I went to all the mixers in San Antonio with the shark skin.
You just wanted to be a shark in your business. That's what that was.
I didn't do my taxes for my first few years in business. I made a lot of money. And I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying all this. I'm not. But
don't ask us. No, I'm kidding.
I made a lot of mistakes that I should not have made. And they but in going through all of these things, it allowed me the opportunity to learn and to grow. And as I've overcome these challenges in business and in life, it's like the Drake line that says, where Drake says, and really, I think I like who I'm becoming. It's times when I might do it just to do it like it's nothing. I honestly, over the last 5 years, I've loved who I've become through the entrepreneurship journey. I feel like everybody owes it to themselves to to do some sort of entrepreneurial venture in their life. I think that you will grow as a person and a human if you take this on.
Growing up, regarding entrepreneurship, growing up, were you ever like one of the kids where it's like you sold candy out of your backpack, you know, the little glue on the art box? Like, did you have any entrepreneur in you or any hustle in you when you were younger?
I definitely did. It didn't show up until 6th grade.
What happened?
In 6th grade, my dad used to work for Pabst Brewing.
Uh-huh.
So where the Pearl Brewery is right now used to be Pabst Brewing.
Oh.
My dad was the network engineer. So he was a tech guy. He always had the latest laptops, BlackBerry phones, things like that. Plus he would bring in cases of beer, you know, because he worked there. And I was flipping all those, laptops.
What?
You know, Blackberries. Remember when the Blackberries were hot?
Yeah.
Palm Pilots. Do you remember Palm Pilots?
Yep.
I was selling them joints. So
where were you getting them from? Where you were just kind of
my dad.
okay.
He was the network engineer, so all of the new tech. These guys didn't know nothing about technology. My dad was like a tech guy.
Got it.
So he would bring all their stuff, and I would just take it and sell it. You know.
Did you ever get caught with how much money you had? No.
Okay. I never got. Well, he did. He eventually caught me. Yeah. He eventually caught me. Yeah. And he was pissed, but he more laughed about it, and he more like commended me for.
Yeah. He's like my little hustler.
Yeah.
Rent's due. Not good.
Yeah. Exactly. But I was always looking for. I always knew I wanted to do something big, and I did have that bug for entrepreneurship at a young age.
Hey, that was a good way to start.
Yeah.
I mean, electronics. That's worth flipping it. I started with candy.
Did you really? No way.
No, I used to always sell candy and stuff, and that's why I was like, oh, those little bookmarks. Can you know the little art boxes where you color it and put glue? I was like, why was I even selling those? Like everybody had an art box.
That's crazy.
That's so random. I was like, we can all make this. We have all the same supplies.
That's dope.
I'm like, wild. We got about 10 minutes left, but I did want to ask you a couple more questions.
Okay.
Is there a story you have to where you took a random leap of faith outside of you initially jumping into entrepreneurship?
A random leap of faith?
You have a story behind that?
A random leap of faith.
Not just first getting into entrepreneurship, but
I think I would say a random leap of faith was I had already been wholesaling for some time, and at the time I was selling mobile homes.
Okay.
And I had saved up about $5,000 in money in my personal account, and that was more money than I had in my personal account ever. So for me, $5,000 was a lot, and that was about probably 3 months worth of expenses for my half of the expenses at the time. So I went into my boss at the time, and I put in my 30-day notice. So that was like the first part of the leap of faith. That was like stepping on the ledge.
Yep.
Now it was a sales job. So I had a pipeline that I was expected to clear of about probably $15,000, $20,000 net to me. And my sales manager is like, actually, just go ahead and turn in your keys right now.
Wow.
You're fired.
Wow.
So I'm like, please don't do this to me. I wanted to capitalize on this, and I can help you find another sales manager within the next 30 days. And he's like, no, they wanted to keep my commission. And they, so they kicked me out. And so now I have $5,000 to my name and no deals projected to close wholesaling. I had only closed a handful of deals at that time. And so I invested like $4,500 of that into my first mailers campaign. And that was a massive, massive leap of faith. Because first I had to talk to my wife at the time and ask her for permission. Like, hey, I'm going to need for you to float us for the next 90 days. because I'm going to invest all the money that's in my account. And so I had to sell her on that. You know what I mean?
I like the terminology there. You're like, I had to sell this dream.
I really did. Like, no, like I'm really going to focus on this. I have the time, the energy, and I have the desire to do it. But when your back is against the wall like that, and it's your last little bit of money, man, I mean, you're putting it all. I'm getting butterflies thinking about it. You know, I'm getting like that nervous feeling just thinking about it. So that was a massive leap of faith. And about, I would say maybe 90 days later, I closed my first deal from that campaign, and it was a $14,000 deal.
Wow.
That $14,000 deal was one of the first deals that closed in that first full year where I cleared $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What was that 90 days like before you
Horrible.
closed?
Horrible. In fact, there's another sub-story. Dude, there's another sub-story. Okay. There was a moment when the deal was supposed to close. It's $14K. All right. The deal is supposed to close, and there was a delay. And I was at the gas station. I'm tight on money. I'm so tight on money right now. There's hardly any money in my bank account. But for some reason, I guess I didn't check my bank account that day or whatever. I filled up my tank with gas. And so I was blessed to be able to do that. I got in my car and something said, just check my bank account. So I checked my bank account, and I was like negative $20 from the gas that I had just put in my car. And it was just that feeling of defeat. Like the deal was supposed to close that week. It's Friday. So we can't even fund and close till next week. I have 2 days until my nearest closing. And I just spent my last money to fill my gas. So I'm like, I'm not going anywhere this weekend. You know what I mean? I can't, even if I wanted to. It's like, Mom, like, do I have anything to eat at the house? Can I come over? You know what I mean? And that was a tough time. You know what I mean? It was a really, really tough time. But that $14,000 that came, that first big check that I did, and by the way, that was my first deal that I ever did alone. So it was just such an incredible feeling and vindication and just like I can do this moment. You know what I mean? And I'm ready for war. You know what I'm saying? That deal was probably just as important as my first deal, because it was proof that my, believing in myself and betting on myself is worth it. You know what I mean?
Dang.
Yeah.
That was all the confirmation you needed. And then the timing of it too. You're like, if I can get out of this, I can do this. Yeah. I love that.
Facts.
Now, if you were to have a mastermind of like any three people from history, who would you choose to be in that mastermind with you?
I would choose Alexander the Great.
Interesting.
I would choose Napoleon
Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh.
And I would choose my third person, Marcus Aurelius.
Why those three?
Alexander the Great, because he's one of the greatest military strategists of all time. But military strategists in Alexander's time is what we call an entrepreneur. That's all he was. He was an entrepreneur. He was trading. He was negotiating terms. He was conquering. He was leading men, right? That's what they did during that time. Yeah. He was like, that is what Elon Musk is today. He is Alexander the Great. You know what I mean? So I would want to talk to him the way they say Alexander the Great was such a great leader that he would go out and about throughout the ranks of his men, lifting their spirits. For the leader of a military to do that was unheard of at that time. It was below him to be able to do, because he was of the royal class, to be a general of the army. Not Napoleon. He was an incredible leader. I would want to mastermind with him. Napoleon Bonaparte, because they say that this man had the ability to make you feel, if you were amongst his ranks, you could be facing hell, And man, he would fire you up to go through hell.
Dang.
He would get you excited, like, man, I can't wait to go to this hell. Hey.
Right? It's not that hard.
They say that he was just so charismatic that he could get you to believe the sky was red, man.
That's a great quality to have.
I want that quality. You know what I'm saying? I want more of that to be able to get to where I... And then Marcus Aurelius, because they say that he was the greatest emperor of Rome. And I mean, Rome is probably next to the dual world American power of UK and America, which is probably the most powerful world power in human history. But prior to this, it was Rome. Rome, they established aspects of government and civilization that we still use, in our legal system and our society structure today. And Marcus Aurelius was the one man that ran it. So Rome, the Romans, they understood how to work with people. They understood power. They understood affluence and influence, And where I want to grow in life, I don't want to be a bad ruler. I want to, I always remember this quote my dad would always tell me. He would always say, the question is not whether or not you should be king. The question is, will you be a good one? I know I'm going to be a king. I'm royalty. My thing is, what makes that an arrogant statement or not is whether or not I'm going to handle my power with love and kindness, compassion, empathy, sympathy, and all the things that I admire in all the qualities that I admire. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Aurelius was that type of ruler. He's known as the last good ruler of Rome. He wrote this book called The Meditations, and there are all these incredible emotional crutches that he utilized to be able to shoulder the weight of the Roman world. You know what I mean? So
there was like 27 of them, right?
What? Okay, Ayla. Dude, my respect for you has just increased.
I'm like, listen, I wrote notes on all of them.
Shut up. That's
I take
so
notes
awesome.
of everything. That's what we're
Wow, Ayla. I'm very impressed. You're very cultured.
I thought that was going to get like a laugh out of you. You're like, respect, not the laugh.
I committed to not laughing into this mic.
You've done a great job with that commitment. So I know you have a huge entrepreneurship event coming up, not just specifically limited to real estate. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a real estate event for sure, but it's going to be self-development, entrepreneurship as a whole that's going to be targeted.
Man, can you tell us a little bit more in depth about your event,
Yes.
the dates and how to get the ticket and what we expect to walk away with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm super excited because it's going to be a fully immersive experience. Every speaker is a multiple 6-figure, 7-figure, or 8-figure earner.
Wow.
They're going to be going over their strategies on what they're using in 2023 that actually works in business. And it's going to be an incredible networking opportunity because there's going to be over 1,000 people there, which we're really excited about. And we're going to have some of the leaders in the space, in entrepreneurship and real estate. It's going to be on March 17th and 18th, 2023.
Okay.
And it's going to be in San Antonio, Texas at the Norris Conference Center.
Got it. And what time is it from?
It's going to be from 8 to about 5 p.m.
Okay.
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Man, that's an all-day event.
So I want to do something special for you and your team here. So I don't know where all this will be airing, but I want you guys here to come to the event, and I would like to give you guys 10 free tickets that we'll sponsor on me. And as long as you have individuals that are willing to commit to be there both days and network and bring the energy, then you can give those free tickets, those tickets to those that reach out to you.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So the first 10 can get it.
Yep, absolutely.
But we need the commitment of both days from 8 to 5 so you can walk away with something.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Well, we appreciate that. And I can't wait for us to get footage and go experience it. I love how you're going to have credible people there as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, who better to learn from the people that are already out here doing it?
100%. If you're an entrepreneur, you're interested in real estate and self-development, you need to be at the growth event in 2023 because it's literally going to change people's lives. Our goal is to provide an environment that's conducive for a breakthrough. That's what we want. Financial breakthroughs, emotional breakthroughs, mental breakthroughs. You're going to see grown men crying.
I love it.
You know what I mean? And if not crying, then jumping for joy. And it's not limited to just people in the audience. I think even some of the speakers, guys like Ryan Pineda, RJ Bates, Eric Klein, when we get this level of this amount of people in one room that are all committed to the goal of growth, magic happens. So make sure you're in that building March 17th and 18th, guys.
And you have a performance there too. Not you yourself, but someone is going to be performing as well, right?
Texas legend, the Iceman Paul Wall will be performing. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I don't know. I grew up in Texas. So when Still Tipping came on,
That's an intro song right there.
And you heard the phrase, what it do, you got a little crazy. You know what I mean? So we're really excited. But here's the thing. Here's why we were so excited to do this. Because some people, you know, kind of, they smirk at us when they see, we do stuff like this at our real estate events. And people kind of look at it a certain way. But Paul Wall is a Texas entrepreneur. This man owns multiple businesses and is a multiple 7-figure earner.
Wow.
From multiple businesses. The guy is brilliant. And so he's actually going to be hanging with us after performing for a little bit. And he's going to be signing autographs and talking with people and masterminding with us as well. So guys, come rub shoulders with Texas legends on March 17th and 18th.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward to it. So the first 10 people we can get that are committed are going to be able to experience this weekend.
Yep, absolutely.
That it?
Perfect, guys. Thank you very much for doing that.
I love how you just come